Hey, you. Yeah, you. You didn't stumble here by chance, so let's talk. My name is Tyanne, but a lot of people call me Taj, and I'm most known for my loud New York personality and my unfiltered opinions. The Melanated Mindset is a safe space for unpopular opinions and heated debates amongst a diverse melting pot of those of us that classify as a melanated millennial. And I don't care if you got a lot of melanin, just a little bit of melanin, or hell, you just melanated by association. Everybody is welcome. Now, I can't speak for y'all, but after seeing what being an adult is really about, nah, I got some things to say. And I know y'all do too. So let's talk about it. Because what's really going on?
What is up, y'all? We're back for another Melanated Monday. I showed up. Y'all showed up. So what's up? Nah, let me stop. But we gonna get right into it. For everybody that's been here, y'all already know. We starting off with my complaint of the week. This week's complaint of the week for me is that my time home is coming to an end. I only have a few more days before I gotta pack me and my baby up, get back on a plane for 10 hours, and go back home to Italy. And I'm so not looking forward to it. Y'all don't understand. Traveling with a kid, 0 out of 10, would not recommend. It's ghetto. Don't do it. Like, however, that brings me into my highlight of the week. I am so hyped to get back to my house, to get back to my man, like for my son to see his dad. And if I'm being honest, I be thinking when Malik be gone for long periods of time, or this time with us being gone for a long period of time, that Xavier would, I don't know, I guess not forget his dad, but it would be like a readjustment, which it normally is. But I don't know why I be thinking he's just gonna forget who his daddy is, and that's like my biggest fear. But Malik FaceTimes us every day. And y'all, he lights up like a Christmas tree when he sees his father on the phone. Like, he know who his daddy is. So that makes me feel good. So I'm ready to go back home. I'm ready to be in my bed. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing like being home, but there's nothing like being in your home. And that's one of the things, like, once you move out your parents' house, like, and you got your own crib, you could never go back. Like, I'm I'm not gonna say never, but I'd be ecstatic towards the end of my trip to go back home to my house, like live by my rules and do whatever I want in my house. You feel me? So that's that's just how I'm coming off it. Now the Fendi fact of the day always rolls us right into our topic. Today we're gonna talk about traveling and specifically traveling while black because I'm black and I be traveling. But I wasn't always traveling. I was one of those people that didn't get a passport until later on in life. I don't think I got my passport until I was like 23, maybe? No, maybe 22. I don't know. But I recently just got a passport. And when I tell y'all, traveling is addicting, it's addicting. Once you get that first passport stamp and you go overseas for the first time and you realize, like, yo, America ain't shit. It's so much more out there in the world. You're addicted. It's literally like a drug. Like, I know that sounds mad dramatic, but people that travel know what I'm talking about. It's literally like you're seeking the escape. It's an amazing escape. Getting to try new foods, experience new cultures, like traveling opens your mind in a way that I can't even begin to explain. It changes the way you look at things, the way you think about things, because you realize that things where you live are just that. Those are the things just where you live. There's another part of the world operating totally different, maybe going through the same things, but got a totally different outcome because of the laws or the rules. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I wish I would have traveled more, like with my parents as a kid, but my parents were always at work. Like, they didn't have time to travel themselves, let alone be taking me places. And I think that's why I'm so big on making sure, like, one of my main goals as a parent is to literally have my child see the world. Like, I want by the time he got a girlfriend, like, I want him to be able to say he's been here, 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 and here, take her to these places. I want him to have his favorite destinations. Favorite destinations he likes to go in the summer. Like, like, because me and his dad are getting to that point. Like, we're traveling enough where we know where we like to go, like, for the summertime, for the winter time. And I always used to think, like, before I was actually traveling, like, oh, when I travel, like, I'm never going to go to the same place twice. But the more you start traveling, you realize, okay, I like this vibe at this time and this vibe at this time. And, it makes you feel like, okay, I'm out here. I'm outside. I'm in these streets. And it's crazy to me that, granted, most of my traveling, I will have to admit, has been done in Europe. Like, we didn't even get to really travel. We didn't get to travel the Caribbean. So when we get back stateside, oh, it's lit. Y'all don't even understand. Y'all are gonna have to pay us to sit still. Plus, we've been on lockdown in Europe for like 2 years. Oh yeah, we are internationally outside everywhere. Any chance we get, we going somewhere. And that's how it was when we first got to Italy. So a lot of our traveling has been in Europe. And let me tell you, I don't think that was the way I was supposed to be introduced to traveling, like, at all, for real, for real. Because it made me realize America be taxing, everywhere else be taxing. Traveling, like, once you get to Europe, traveling within Europe, or the EU as it's referred to, is mad cheap, y'all. For real, for real. I think my tickets to Spain was like $100. Our tickets to Paris were like $60. Like, it's ridiculously cheap. So my advice to anybody that has a passport in the States and you want to go to Europe, I'm telling you to take off like 14 days and book a flight from wherever you live to wherever the first country you want to go to is, and then just book individual flights within Europe from there. Like, stay 2-3 days in one place, 2-3 days in another place, because you can see so much for the littlest amount of money. Like, I'm talking so little you don't even believe it. Like, when I bought those tickets to Paris for $60, I honestly remember constantly checking our account. Like, there's no way that I just paid $120 to go to Paris. Are you shitting me? Nah. The most expensive thing is getting over here. And even, like, for the people that's in New York, y'all could go to Italy, one direct. Like, no, I'm talking no layovers. New York to Rome, granted, it's like 6-7 hours, but a direct flight round trip could be like 4 something. I'm dead ass. Y'all don't believe me? Look it up. For real, for real. It's not that expensive to even get over here. And then you get over here and could go mad other places. And if I wouldn't have been able to go all those different places, one, I wouldn't have seen some of the places that we seen. Like, to be honest, if I had to pick my favorite travel destination since I've been over here, Greece has to take the number one spot, just because Greece was literally picture perfect. It looks exactly like what it looks like in the book. And my child was conceived in something. Greece is lit, whatever. But, like, tied right under that, I would have to say Croatia and the Czech Republic are, like, tied directly after that. And it sounds crazy because I'm telling myself, like, all right, I knew what the Czech Republic was. Got that. But Croatia, for some reason, I was not tracking that country. Like, I don't know whether I thought it was a country or not. I don't know, but I knew that it wasn't on my radar at all before I moved over here. It wasn't even on my radar till we were going. And I was mad nervous about going, like, what is in Croatia? And all I kept seeing people talk about was, what is that show everybody watches? Damn, I can't think of it. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is filmed there. And I'm like, y'all finna judge me. I've never watched Game of Thrones, so I ain't know what it looked like. And I'm just like, okay, like, that's not telling me what I want to know. And y'all, Croatia is probably, like, for my favorite country in terms of, like, litness, vibe, weather, beach. It's a 10. All around food. Croatia was so lit the first time that me and Malik went. We flew to, like, a deep in Croatia. We could have drove from where we lived, but it would have been like an 8-9 hour drive, and we feel like doing that. So we literally paid $100 for flights from Italy to Croatia, split Croatia. And y'all, it was so lit that 2 weeks later we turned around and went to Croatia again. But this time we drove, and we drove just barely into Croatia to a completely different city called Pula. And that was only like a 4-hour drive. Hula wasn't as lit, but it was still lit to have only drove 4 hours and got a passport stamp. Like, it was so lit. And we went to Prague in the Czech Republic. I was pregnant when we went. So I have to go back not pregnant because y'all, there was just so much to do. Even pregnant, like we went to this beer museum and I was able to get non-alcoholic beer. We did an escape room. We did black light, miniature golf. Like we was riding around on like the little rental scooters that I feel like they got in the city now. Like y'all, it was just so lit. We went to an illusion museum. Like it was nonstop activities. Mind you, all these activities were cheap as hell. I'm talking like none of those things I just mentioned was more than $20 a person. Right. Not even the beer. Like beer was like €2-3. So less than $5 for like a tall ass freshly brewed beer. And y'all that's from New York and that be drinking Hennessy and Casa and all that, like beer back in the States, nasty as hell. Beer in Europe, whoa. Like it's up there with wine for real. And you got to be of a certain age range to really be drinking wine now, because some of us just we have to shut off on the liquor. But beer in Europe, top tier. Beer in Croatia, the best beer I have had in my life to this day was in Croatia. Like, and Malik ordered it. It was like this peach beer, like look, just stuff like that. That stuff you could only find traveling overseas. The closest thing we're gonna get to peach beer in Brooklyn is a thotty. Am I lying? Right. So it's crazy when I meet people that don't travel or like got a passport but don't, and I be like, yo, it's you don't know what you're missing. To the point where like, yo, I really love planning trips. Like all of my friends know, like when we going somewhere, I naturally just take over and delegate, but they know they secretly want me to because I be planning some little ass trips. As long as we don't got no crazy people going, they know it's gonna be a lit trip. Like I'm gonna find activities, like I'm gonna have us staying somewhere kind of nice. I'm gonna make sure everybody not spending buku bread. Like low key, I think I was a travel agent in another life. That being said, shout out to Nyanka for giving me the idea to even do this episode. This episode, I was not going to do a travel episode, but she said that I should. And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. Like talking about my travel experiences and giving tips. So let's get into the tips. Y'all, I'm finna school y'all. If you're going to book a flight, specifically an international flight, you need to book it on a Tuesday. Like the day you actually search and pay for your flight needs to be on a Tuesday. That is when flights are the cheapest. That is the cheapest day of the week to book flights. Any of these things y'all think I'm capping about, you could really look it up. Mind y'all, all them trips we went on, some of them was back to back. Listen, we are far from rich. We make regular people money. I just learned how to travel on a budget, and I learned some tips and tricks along the way that just kind of helped. And here I am giving them a try. And since we're talking about plane tickets, also, when you are searching for plane tickets, make sure that you're using whatever incognito or private browser, like the private, y'all know what I'm talking about, like the private tab where you use it to do stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. Make sure you use that when you're searching for flights and when you're booking your flight. Because what happens is if you use your regular browser, the government or your phone or the algorithm, whoever is going to see like, oh, you're looking at tickets to the Dominican Republic. So every single time you check it, the price can go up and up and up and up. Y'all, I have tested this for myself. Believe it or not, I'm dead ass. You don't believe me? Try it yourself. And while we're still on the topic of flights, the app/website Skyscanner is literally my best friend. Like, I search for all my flights, I book all my flights through Skyscanner. And if you're feeling extra adventurous and you don't necessarily know where you want to go, you just know you want to go somewhere, Skyscanner, I'm sure other apps like travel apps have this option. I'm only talking about Skyscanner because that's the one that I use. Let's say you live in New York, which would make your international airport JFK. So you will put your departure airport JFK under the explore option. Put what month, like be real general. Like let's just say you know you got vacation days in September. So you put departing from JFK airport, select the whole month of September, and let you put a budget. Let's say your budget is $300. it will show you all of the places that you could fly out of JFK to in September for under $300. Will they all be international? No, but there will be a few. And that's literally how I was able to take my son to Puerto Rico for his birthday. Like, I literally went on Skyscanner, clicked the month of May, clicked the departing airport, and I just put $200 because I wasn't willing to spend more than $200 for a quick trip. And it just so happens that there were literally dates for me to be in Puerto Rico on his birthday, and it was perfect. And the tickets was $60. Like, I'm talking North Carolina to Puerto Rico. So don't sleep on that Explorer app. If your dates are flexible, I would try that first and then request your vacation around what they have available. But if you have to stick to specific dates, I would still go through Skyscanner just because I've had great experiences with them. If you absolutely must stay in a hotel, because I know some people are against the Airbnbs and the Verbos and all that, respectfully so. I'm not that girl, but I respect your opinion. If you must stay in a resort or in a hotel, use booking.com. The booking.com, it was my right-hand man for booking almost all of our trips, and I'm going to tell y'all why. Booking has hotels on there that have free cancellation, right? And then some of the hotels listed on there, mainly the ones in Europe. In the Caribbean, I've checked, not so much, but some places on there offer a pay at the property option. So there's no booking fees, there's no cancellation fees, and you pay nothing up front to reserve this hotel room. You pay for it when you get there. Right. So imagine being able to plan a trip with your friends, and y'all know what it's like planning a trip with brown folk. Start off with 10, end up with 2. We know how that go. I'm literally in the middle of planning a trip as we planning like 2 trips, low key as we speak. So y'all know how that go. So imagine being able to, you and your friends decide like, yo, we want to go somewhere. All right, where I want to go? We want to go to Dominican Republic. You look it up hotels and you find one that got no cancellation fee, no booking fee, and you pay at the property. You can literally go ahead and reserve the room right now, but without paying nothing up front. And it'll tell you what day they're going to charge your card on. Like it'll say your first, and then you still have the option to pay in increments, not necessarily increments. It's usually 2, like at Airbnb, it's usually half. They'll tell you, oh, your first payment of half will come out on, and it'll give you the exact date, and it'll tell you the exact day your second payment's coming out. So you could begin planning a trip with your friends and give everybody time to get their money together while knowing y'all already secured a hotel. And it is legit. I have done it beaucoup times. It is my favorite way. If we have to absolutely stay in a hotel, I don't use no other website but booking.com. Now, if you don't necessarily need to stay in a hotel, you like kind of the local vibe, because some trips call for that. Y'all already know about Airbnb. I heard that there is a people of color friendly version of Airbnb, because I have heard of people being discriminated against on Airbnb. I am still trying to make sure that that website is legit before I actually start using it. I want to kind of find somebody that I know that's used it, or like really dig into the reviews, not just because I want to scrutinize the Black website. I just want to make sure I'm not getting zoed. Like, I've used Airbnb before. This will be a whole new website, and I'd be mad wary to put my card information on a brand new website. People be scamming left and right. Y'all know this, right? We work hard in this household, so I'm not about to have nobody just taking funds out of our pocket just because if I'm gonna spend money, it's gonna be for something. You get what I'm saying? But I haven't looked into that. And there's also a new app or website I just found out about. I believe I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's called Verbo. VRBO. It's exactly like Airbnb, but for some reason I feel like this app has way nicer places. And for the current trip that I'm planning, I looked on Airbnb and then I looked on Verbo. We just gonna pretend like I'm saying it right. I looked on Verbo, and Verbo had way more options than Airbnb did. So sometimes you go on Airbnb, you be like, the pickings is slim, y'all. This is what we got. Look into Verbo. A lot of the places on there, for some reason, are a lot nicer, in my opinion, for about the same price. And they still have a pay half up front, just like Airbnb, pay the rest later. It's literally exactly like Airbnb. So I haven't necessarily used that one yet, but we are about to. So I'll come back and let y'all know how that goes. I'm really hoping that this goes well because the place looked bomb as fuck. For real, y'all. I really love traveling. It's so addicting, and it's sad when I travel and I don't see that many Black people. Granted, again, most of my traveling was done in Europe, so I know when I come back home and I be in the Caribbean, it's gonna be brown people everywhere, and I love that for us. But I want to know why more Black people not going to Europe. Like, don't get me wrong, the Caribbean, I believe, is that girl. Will always be that girl. I can't wait to be up and down the Caribbean. I know I'm gonna have some repeat trips. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, Europe is just as lit. It has all 4 seasons, so as long as you come in the summertime, like y'all, I'm telling y'all, Europe is really mad lit. And what I will say, partying in Europe has been a totally different experience. I can't speak for Malik, but for myself, when I go to the club in Italy or in these other countries when we be on vacation, it's sad to say, but like we be drinking, chilling. Like I don't be worried about if a fight gonna break out, if somebody's gonna come shoot up the club. Like none of that stuff be on my mind because they don't be on that type of time out there. I'm not gonna say there's never been any incidents, but I'm saying, speaking from my personal experience, I have never even seen a fight break out in a club in Europe. And if I seen a scuffle, it was in Italy at the club outside of base where all the Americans go, and more than likely it was some drunk soldiers trying to fight. Like you get what I'm saying, or some drunk soldiers disrespecting a local Italian or a local African and finna get the paws put on them. That's really it. And the security guards always sweep it up, bro. Like it's never been no. I don't know. I feel like partying in the States, specifically in New York and big cities, like it's not like that anymore. You gotta, all right, I only gotta take 2 drinks, not just because I'm driving, because I need to stay cognitively aware. Ooh, you heard that? Didn't even stutter. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, I have to be conscious of that. I keep telling my best friend, since I've been home for these couple weeks, I realized when we move back to the States at the end of the year, it's going to be an adjustment. Like, I feel like a goddamn tourist in my own country, y'all. I be walking around Walmart like, they sell this? Oh my gosh. Like, I'm still driving like I'm in Europe. Like, for example, in Europe, in Italy specifically, the left lane, y'all know how we call that the fast lane? That is the passing lane over there. You cannot legally just drive in that lane. If you are in that lane, it is with the sole purpose of going around the person in front of you. And once you get in front of, like, once you pass them, you got to get your ass back over in the right lane. Like, that is literally only for passing. Trucks cannot go in that lane. So I be on the highway out here, like seeing people pass me on the left and like staying. I'm like, oh shit, like I could stay in that lane and drive. Like it's literally gonna be an adjustment for us, and I think that's so crazy. And it's just little things like that that make me realize, like, you know, I feel bad for people that never like travel outside of America and think that that's all life got to offer. Because, child, let me tell y'all, after living in a foreign country, I know we think they be laughing at us and talking shit about Americans, but I am here to confirm they absolutely goddamn do. Like, when people figure out that we're American, because we don't even have to tell people, like, they be drunk in a bar and be like, oh, you from America. And we be trying not to say yes, but it's obvious. The way we dressed, our mannerisms, we do not blend in over there at all, let alone us being black, let alone me and Malik being from New York. Like, right. So they will tell them like, yeah, you know, we from America. And they be like, oh yeah, Donald Trump. And we just be like, or like some people be big mad about Trump and we'll be like, oh, America, blah, 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 going off. And we just sitting there like, okay, this not our lay of the land. So we going to just get out of this one peacefully. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, compared to everywhere I've been over here, America is the ghetto. And these Europeans will not let us forget that America is the ghetto. Like, I'm not even being funny. I'm so serious. They talk about us disgustingly. However, I still feel safe in these cities somehow because everybody's here to just have their fun. And I feel like in America, people be going out just to make sure other people don't have fun, if that makes sense. So it's a totally different atmosphere. And I just want to say, if you're one of those people that's reluctant about traveling and solo traveling too, I will not sit up here in front like I've done it, but I really want to when we move back to the States. Now, I will say when I travel internationally by myself, I will be in somebody's resort, 24-hour security, because pretty brown girls like me go missing every day, and I don't got time for that. However, that's just my preference. You want to stay in Airbnbs and hostels and stuff, more power to you. I'm not doing that by myself. But I do want to go on a vacation by myself. It's probably going to be the scariest goddamn thing I ever do, but I feel like somehow it's going to be really... I'm low-key an adrenaline junkie. So I feel like that type of thrill, it's also going to be like really terrifying, but it's just when I make it back home, I'm going to be so hyped, like, yo, I could do anything. I went out the country by myself. Like, you feel a level of invincibility. Don't know if that's a word, but it sounds like it is. You feel that, you know?
And on that note, if you made it this far, thank you for just rocking with me, kicking with me, chopping it up with me, all of that. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. The love, the support, it never goes unnoticed or unappreciated. And if you want to join the conversation in real time and share your personal thoughts and opinions, make sure you follow me on Instagram at the.melanatedmindset. That's where I'm going to be posting all the polls, the questions, the conversation starters, all of that. That's also going to be where you'll get to hear sneak peeks and previews into the episodes to come. It's going to be one hell of a ride. I hope y'all are ready. Until then, I'll see y'all same time, same place, next week for hashtag Melanated Monday. And remember, the goal is to be good and do good. Until then, peace, y'all.